Welcome, folks, to more Summoner. Where last we left, we obtained the Dreadblade, as well as several other pieces of fine equipment. Something I forgot to show off, though, last time, is that I got my ring power above 60,000, which unlocked the secondary summon, the Wraith, for the Ring of Light. For the Ring of Darkness, you have to do something a little more for that one. Much later on, though. Pretty much end game, actually, to get that second summon. Anyway, before we head out, because, as stated, we're heading to Ikaemos in hopes to obtain the Ring of Stone. You are given a choice at this point whether to do Ikaemos first or Sunavar to get the Ring of Fire. I always like to do Ikaemos first, due to the fact that it just has that side quest that you can do over there with the gargoyle blood. How about we give you that Fell Staff, which is indeed the fastest weapon in the game. Pretty good, 60 damage for a blunt. Very nice, very stylish. Jakar, you can have the Saber Harp held. That'll do very well with you. And a Ring of Aggression, why not? Very nice. Let's head out, shall we, without further ado. Without further ado. Ah, whatever, who cares? Not that I play life correctly. In we go.
In its golden age, Ikaemos had been a prosperous realm, but the glory of the Empire came at a terrible price. To Ikaemos, the river god, the Empire sacrificed its children, drowning them in dark waters swollen with rain, until Amun, the last of the priest kings, wore the Ring of Stone. Born with the mark of the Summoner, Amun made war against the river god. And so the vengeful Ikaemos destroyed Amun's empire, sinking the realm below a vast swamp. To save his people from the eternal torment of the drowned, Amun changed them into stone.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of backstory for you folks. Praise King Amun, the last ruler of Ikaemos here. I believe that was 1,000 years ago abouts. Apparently he was a summoner. I believe the Queen mentioned this to us before we set out. But yeah, Praise King Amun was a previous summoner. Apparently he utilised the Ring of Stone. I wonder what this type of river god's like. Well, other than being a vengeful god. Doesn't sound like a pleasant fella. Ladies, please. Please. There is a Jakar in the room. Are we already starting that? Like, are we already drunk, fellas? We've only just arrived. You know, here's Ikaemos. We actually arrived by a little boat. I'll go back and show that off in a sec. There is an item over here, though. And yes, guess what is absolutely swarming with basites? Well, that's to be expected. And there's our item there. I hope those sound effects. It is very... There's quite a bit of ambience in Ikaemos. The dark. We've seen that already, though. There's quite a bit of ambience in Ikaemos. I hope it's not too loud. There's definitely a lot of clicking sounds going on. You can have a nice day, fella. What are you looking at, anyway? That big cloud there? Yeah, Ikaemos has got some very nice aesthetics, in a way. I do have a bit of a soft spot when it comes to ruins. Run-down buildings of the ancient past. I mean, who doesn't, though? Anyway, here's our little boat. Very nice. How do we all fit on that? I mean, there is enough space. Who is rowing? Hopefully Rosalind was not the one rowing. She's already drunk. Don't drink and row your boat, folks. There's a bit of the architecture there. We'll be heading over that way. Where these fellas here, these are green imps. And they can poison you, so be careful with that. Not very strong though. Yeah, Fleas, feel free to swing your sword every once in a while. That'd help. She might be drunk too though, so I'm not going to hold it on her. We can ignore that fella. That paralyse effect. Yeah, the Dread Blade taking effect there. I did want to show it off. Actually, let's set Rosalind. That's very healthy for her to do. Keep her out the front lines. Yeah, I've been noticing these green orbs floating around. If you recall to the previous episode, the forest night encounter, where I was showing off where I do all my gold farming, there's actually fireflies that you can find in certain areas in that encounter. They pretty much look like these green orbs here, only that they're red. Of course, in the forest they're clearly fireflies. I don't know what these green ones are supposed to be though. And yes, there is an item there. Very good item actually. Let's go and pick that up. Yeah, don't worry too much about getting lost here. It's not the hardest place to navigate. You cannot walk into the swampy water here though. Not that. Clearly not. Do you know who's playing? And now over here we have a very, very fine shield. The Scutum shield. I believe that's Latin for shield. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Everyone has two-handed weapons. Well, there it is though. Very nice. 20 protection. That's the highest protection rate for a shield that we've seen so far. I mean, maybe Fleas can go one-handed for a bit. How about we show off that Qatar? We did get that from one of the Kasanu. Lovely. I believe, come to think of it, I think that green is the actual true colour that fireflies make. I believe so, no. Lightning bugs, as they're also known as. I believe that they actually do glow green. Which then suggests what the ones in the forests are, because they glow red. And maybe these ones are poisonous, who knows. Green is a good signifier of poison in the gaming world. And Summoner is definitely no stranger to that. By the way, these fellas here, these can also drop a ring of health, so that's one to take note of. Not that the ring of health is a very powerful item, but it is nice to have. Especially if there's no better rings available. Yes, Jakar, you too can also do good if you swung your axe every once in a while. This bridge is what you were looking for. That's the only way to get over to the palace area. I believe this is in the top left corner of the map. Let's have a look at that, shall we? Yeah, near enough. I might leave that fella. Oh, this one doesn't want to leave us, does he? Yeah, to tell the truth, we are somewhat over-leveled for this. Just a bit. Well, the enemies' levels scale in the different areas of the game, so... You cannot truly be over-leveled in the Summoner. The remnants of a Palace Guard. Or a Plaza Guard. Yeah, that was optimal, getting that paralyse effect going in there. Yes, that fella up there, we'll see him a little later on. There is an item here to obtain. Nothing too unique, unfortunately. Just a healing draught. I'm curious on what these buildings would have been. I'm assuming the ones down into the swamp area probably were housing estates. Places of residence. The ones near the palace. Not entirely sure what they would be. I'm a little bit poisoned here. Rosalind? Thank you, Rosalind. That's very healer of you. Well, that's unfortunate for that fella. There's not really much down there. A couple of guards there. This stone path, though, looks nice. Cobblestone path, very nice. Head over the other way here, though. There'd be an item. Well, a few items to obtain, actually. Are you going to be any trouble for us? Have a nice night if you're going to be behaving yourself. There's Jakara. Well, better late than never. Ah, here's that fella again. These are gargoyles. They're pretty resilient to all physical attacks, including blunt, so you best target them with magic. That paralyse, though, that's definitely worthwhile. Yeah, even got the poison on him, nice. They've got a very low detection range, apparently. Now, we want to get blood from these fellas. We want to squeeze blood from stone.
It's locked.
Of course it is. That's one thing the gargoyles made sure to do before it died. Lock its item. And there's one of the bloods. We need 6 of those, so... Yeah, we need 6 of these in total. There's one of them. They have a decent chance of dropping them though, so you won't have to grind them for too long. And there's one of the items I wanted to pick up here. The Berserker's Ring. Oh, have a look at that, shall we? I'm sure Jakar would like that. He would very much like that indeed. Indeed. Yeah, it's very... I really do love the background of Ikaemos. Very nice. Very atmospheric. There's another item here. We can actually get this without that fella nagging us. I'm pretty sure we've already got a Ring of Shadows. Yeah, you got Ring of Shadows right there. That's the same thing. Well, having 2 of them will come in useful later on. Let's head further towards the palace. I probably should show off that Wraith, actually. That's a new summon that we got. The Mist Elemental should be a bit better now that our ring power is up. 81,000? You unlock a secondary summon at 60,000 for the ring power. Well, ain't you a handsome looking fella? Ooh, those hands there. They're quite some hands, they are. They are definitely something. Oh! So I would have happily ignored you, but yeah. And there's nothing more to find down here. So let's head up to the plaza. Probably taking care to fight these on our way, actually. We need that gargoyle blood. They also drop a couple of other useful items. So hopefully they'll drop them too. Oh, guys. It's fine. Oh, by the way, the Wraith here. He's immune to all physical attacks, so it might be a good idea to have him run headfirst into combat. None too shabby. And we got an item, nice. Our second gargoyle blood. Now, this guy has a unique spell, life drain. I would use it right now, but I feel like we could do better against these two. Yeah, let's show off some fire, shall we? It's getting a bit cold out here. That made short work of those. Guys, can we... Yeah, you keep doing that, Rosalind. Are we all good now, guys? It's got to summon out, so the aggression's gone up a bit. Let's get these items. Our third gargoyle blood. Of course it's locked. Our fourth, maybe? Indeed it is.
Success.
Oh, by the way, you cannot destroy the item. So if you get more than 6, you're going to have gargoyle blood permanently in your inventory. Unfortunately. Just keep note of that. Let's try and show off that lose a level spell. What are you guys doing? Well, there you go. Oh, what are we getting attacked by here? Yeah, you won't have to worry about him dying to physical attackers. Whew. But yes, there's that life drain ability. It really does make them lose 1 level every time you cast it. Pretty much making them slightly easier, I suppose. Let's go and finish that fella off. What, are you doing it now? Has he been drinking the same stuff Rosalind has drunk? Yes, you can examine the statues. I'm trying to get that gold that's decided it wanted. There you go. This symbol here. Keep that in the back of your minds. What are we doing, fella? fucking loose cannons today, aren't we? There's in the middle of a ritual. I wonder what they're doing. In the rituals of the priest kings, I wonder what ritual that is. Yes, judging by this gully in the middle here. It doesn't look like a very pleasant ritual. Let's actually examine the statues down here. Why not? Yeah, they're all frozen in time. Doesn't look any better frozen in stone. I wonder what they're talking about. They're in the middle of a transaction. It looks like they're walking away from each other. Well, who are we to judge? They are about 1,000 years old, so times would have been a bit different back then. Yeah, can you imagine if we was to unfreeze them also? That's a little owl chick, I suppose. Just get away from that. Yeah, I can imagine unfreezing them into our time period. They'd be so confused. And the culture probably would have shifted a fair bit. This does not look very pleasant. You guys doing okay here? Very nice. Let's see what you got, fellas. Ring of Aggression. And some dragon boots, very nice. Jakar, is that what you already got, the Ring of Aggression? Yeah, I kind of want you to keep that Berserker ring, though. As for those dragon boots, this is actually for Rosalind, of all people. 7 protection and magic resist. Quite a step up. Why are they only worth 500 though? I don't know. Because those leather boots... Oh no, I suppose that's right. Yeah, they're worth 10 times. Very snazzy laces, by the way. Yeah, you guys play with that guy. I'm going to check the item. More dragon boots. Well, let us head in, shall we? I noticed how summon got unsummoned. That's fine. Oh yeah, Jakar gets heal spells now. At level 18 he gets the heal spells. Which is pretty nice, actually. How about we give another shot for the Mist Elemental? He might do good this time. Welcome, fella. Let's hope you do a bit better of a job. Probably going to get a bit crowded here though, with all the tight corners, tight spaces. Oh, nothing our party can't handle though. Have you been drinking the Rosalind beverage, fella? Yeah, guess what's also swarming in besides? So this door over here. This is ultimately where we want to go. But unfortunately the door is locked. Cannot open it. This statue though has 4 slots for daggers. I don't know how we know exactly that they're for daggers at this point, but yes, we're going to have to be on the lookout for those. Let's take to the left door here. Left way. That water is probably absolutely stagnant at this point. I do have a thing for stagnant water though. It does tie well with the ruined building aesthetics. I wouldn't drink it though, fellas. It's nice to admire, not to drink. Oh. Ah, another new enemy. This fella here, who didn't last very long, because we're so strong. This is a Gorgone. Gorgone? I don't know how you pronounce it. It's a magical basite, if you need to know. Well, at least to Volition, they refer to it as the magical basite. It's got 3 heads. Yeah. They do drop some very nice items though, so hopefully we can pick one up as we're going through this. Felice can unlock that. I don't know if I want to do that right now though. But she most certainly can unlock that. Well, let's take him down. Love the sound they make when they get hit. Yeah, we've already seen these fellas. We actually saw one of these at Liona Monastery. Oh, Ring of Protection, very nice. We've already seen these grey stone golems. Work in the lift at the monastery. That damage from Jakar, very nice. Unfortunately for him, he is also susceptible to the paralyze. Also, this fella over here, a very familiar looking face actually. Yeah, there's a familiar face. You look exactly like the Wraith fella. Let's have a word with him, shall we? Menoris. Ah, unfinished business, have you? Well, that makes sense. So, the king entrusted him to hold on to a necklace for a wedding. But Mr. Menoris here lost the necklace. Well, at least he says it vanished somehow. So the king had him killed. What a pleasant king. Well, we can look for this necklace for you, fella. It's actually not that far, honestly. How long you been hanging around here? I'm assuming it's not Priest King Armoon. It may have been a time period well before that, actually. We'll make sure to get that necklace for you, though. It's actually just outside, honestly. Let's go and fetch it before we, well, conclude for today. Fellas? While you guys are playing around, I'm going to fetch the necklace. I don't want them to drag on too long. Looks like I'm fighting alone though. There's nothing I can't handle. We are pretty powerful at this point. And with the Dread Blade, well, no problem. Of all the things you chose to use on him, you chose the heal spell. Jakar, please behave yourself. Anyway, that necklace. It's just around the corner here. He mentioned it is a garden that is overgrown or something. I mean, maybe this was a garden at some point. Anyway. So there's a necklace that had him killed. Well, was the reason for his killing. And what he's been hanging around for all this time. The Dynasty of Nock? Ancient Dynasty of Nock? Yeah, this definitely was before Praise King Armoon's time. I don't know how far back this was. He's been around for a long time, this ghost. He has been around for a very, very long time. Well, let us hand it back to him. At least it put his soul at rest. Also, yeah, I did hear an item drop as you spotted. Of course it's locked. Of course. Yeah, when you die, make sure to lock your bags.
Success.
Nice work, Fliz. Unfortunately, the enemies respawn, as they will do. I suppose you could use that to your advantage, however. Any day now, fellas. Yeah, you've definitely been drinking some of the booze, haven't you, fella? Oh, now Joseph. Is no one safe from Rosalind's stash of booze today? Well, that's bound to happen. They had to turn. Oh, it wasn't entirely wasteful. Yes, that's very optimal of you, Jakar. Let's quickly take care of these fellas before they become a problem. Absolutely loving that paralyze. You honestly can't beat the Dread Blade. It really is a worthwhile sword to obtain. It really, really is worthwhile. Definitely worth the farming for the garnets. Or whatever other method you have for farming gold. But honestly, the garnets are the best. The quickest way of doing it. Fella! You can stop having your soul tormented by the past. Here's your necklace, fella. After centuries, it's been at least a millennium, fella. At that point, it's been millenniums. Well, we set him free from his torment. He can now lay to rest, finally. Woo, just for some random adventures to come stumbling by. Anyway, we're going to call it here, folks. In the next, we shall continue our trek through the palace here. On the lookout for these daggers, for those slots. In hopes to open that door. Well, see you then, folks. Have a nice day.